Welcome to BIA, Canada's top black media provider. Whether you're looking for shows on fashion, art, music, or simple lifestyle, we bring you the best content the black community in Canada has to offer and so much more. And better yet, do you have an idea for a project you'd like us to help you with? We provide equipment, studio, and office space, as well as a team of dedicated individuals to help you bring those ideas to life. So don't wait. Check out our new website at biamedia.ca for more information on how to contact us and start creating today. BIA Media, your way.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner and 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And also, I host the only live online conversation in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Care and also Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And through that collaboration, I've been able to reach out. I'm part of a team that's been able to reach out to over 100,000 fathers around the world this year. So as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Really looking forward to the conversation today because it's Black Canada Talking. And if you don't know what Black Canada Talking is all about, it's a live online conversation where we feature Blacks and Black Canadians that express their POVs and takes on stories that have importance to them. We also showcase Black Canadians that you need to know about. So we have another group of Black Canadians on today that you need to know about. So let's talk about them. We have some members of an organization called the Black Youth Empowerment Group. There are 6 members. They are all high school students who in winter of 2020 began renewing program content on bystander intervention from the Project Respect program. The focus of the group is to ensure that the information about bystander intervention is culturally relevant. The primary question they are answering is, how does the content resonate with the group's Black identities and experiences? So we have, I don't know how to refer to her because she's been on before, but she brought this group to my attention. She's with us today, and we have 2 members of the group on. So let's bring everybody on. All right, we've got Dr. Lisa, we've got Avi, and there should be one more person. And Samara, how are we all doing today? Okay, I can't say something. Can't hear anybody.
Hi.
Oh, there we go. I'm going, I can't hear anybody. Like they're waving. I don't hear any sound. What's going on? How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good, thanks.
Good.
Excellent.
Yes.
So we're very happy to have everybody here today. I'm looking forward to another epic conversation from everybody. So, you know what we're going to do first? We'll get introductions. So I'm going to have Dr. Lisa introduce herself first. She has been on the Dr. Vibe show, but it's been a while, but she's a second timer. So Dr. Lisa, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Lisa Gunderson. In our African Caribbean Black communities, I'm known as Dr. Lisa or Dr. G. I am one of the adults that is part of this amazing group called Black Youth Empowerment, and I'm so happy to be here with you all today. I'm a clinical psychologist by training, and I operate a racial equity group called One Love Consulting. And again, just an honor to be here with you, Dr. Vibe. Looking forward to a great conversation and coming on maybe a third or fourth time.
Oh, later. You will be. You will be. That's already a done deal. You're gonna be a reg. You're gonna be a reg. So no worries about that. Who is the wonderful person that's beside you? We'd love to hear from them. Who are they? What are they?
My name is Lisa Gunderson. My pronouns are she and him. I go to Mount Douglas Secondary High School.
Relax. Take it easy. It's a conversation. It's not an interview. Relax.
I'm grade 10, and I really love helping people. So that's why I joined Black Youth Empowerment. So yeah.
Who did you get that helping gene from?
Maybe my mom. All right. Before we just continue, I just want to do a land acknowledgement. This is something we always do before a meeting. We thank the Lekwungen and Songhees Nation for which territories we live and learn on. This was originally their land before Europeans took the land and stole it from them. So we think that they still let us live and learn on this land even after what happened to them. And so, yeah, they let us immigrate here, and they let us live on their land even after it has been stolen from them, from the Europeans.
Thank you for the land acknowledgement. Thank you so much. We have another new friend on today, and Samara. Could you just introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Hello, my name is Samara, and my pronouns are she, her. I am in grade 10, and I don't know, what else do you need to know about me?
Well, that's all right. That's good. That works. Samara, I want to make sure I get your name right, Samara. So look, it is an absolute pleasure to have all three of you on today to share about this wonderful organization. And I want to say, how did it start? Like, how did this happen?
So I'll take that one. The way that this began actually was with Victoria Sexual Assault Center. They have an offshoot called Project Respect. And Project Respect goes to various schools where they talk to students about things like bystander intervention, where they talk about violence. It's basically kind of an anti-violence education program. They received a grant from the Public Health Agency of Canada. And so my colleague who is not here with me today, Nicola Watson, she and I we created a group called Girls and Femmes with Afro-Textured Hair. And we have it's a support group for ACB girls. And we have an offshoot of that called the Barbershop for Boys as well. And we were approached by VSAC, which Nicola also works at, to think about, after the murder of Mr. Floyd, how we would be able to really make sure that the curricula that they're giving to our students actually resonates with them. And as Black youth, the curricula wasn't really about us and our issues that happened and the ways that things that happened to us and our students in school, etc. So they offered an opportunity, and we came together that if we could find a group of high school students who'd be willing to look at their curricula through a Black lens, through their lived experiences, and consider rewriting portions of it and creating scenarios and building basically a workshop for other BC Black youth by Black youth. And we thought that was an amazing opportunity, but we said, if you're going to do that, you're gonna have to make sure you pay our students, because they're not giving stuff away for free, and that we'd be able to have support from the agency and group. And they did that. So this is actually also a job for them. And these incredible youth have come together every week for the past year and a half for a couple of hours, in addition to working on weekends where they've received facilitation training from other members of the ACB communities who are experts in their fields. And they've created these amazing scenarios. And for our part, we are on the call along with the team from VSAC. When we get together, we step away. So they're literally creating without us in there. And then we come back in to kind of help in any way that we can. And so they have piloted it over the summer, and they're going to be offering the workshop in the spring to students as well as teachers. That's another portion that we're going to be looking at to share their experiences with that. And there's also a research component. UVic is doing some research around the great work they're doing, that hopefully this may be a model for other young voices and how we can empower them to empower others in this arena of intervention. So that's just a snippet. We can talk more about the details later.
No problem. I'd like to get from the two young people, our two new young friends. When this opportunity first came to you, what was your first reaction? That was so good. Go ahead.
You go first. You can go first.
Okay, thank you. I guess my first reaction was like, yeah, finally, like I was really excited, but I was also like, finally, I've been waiting for something like this for a while. I didn't really realize I was waiting for it until the opportunity was there. But it was just such a, there wasn't really even a question about being a part of it. It was more just how can I just do more? That was my reaction, was just immediate, like, agreeing and wanting to be a part of it.
So, and before I get to Avi, you said finally. My mind stuck on that. What do you mean finally? What had you experienced to say in your mind finally?
Well, I mean, there's like this sort of, I don't know, like I don't have a lot of Black friends that I'm, or people that I'm close with that are Black that I can talk to about things. Yep. So there's just this there's like this kind of loneliness that I experienced as a Black youth in, our very white city. Mm-hmm. So just like, even like, just the idea of having a space to just be entirely me was just so important, and something that I had needed for so long, that it was kind of a relief. So that's
that's fantastic, and I appreciate you being open and honest, and do know that this is a safe and brave space. So we want you to feel comfortable at that. Avi, how about yourself? When this opportunity came to your lap, what was your first response?
Well, since my mom helped make the workshop, I was kind of hearing about it, and so I already kind of knew it was a thing. So I was like, this will be fun. I feel like just helping people would just be super fun, helping them with their issues. So that, I feel like, is my main point, just helping them. And I was super excited because we don't usually get to talk about kind of things that happen to us. It's kind of just like normal in a sense. So like, we get to talk about them, see what's different, and actually work through the problems. And it's a safe space. You can like say whatever's happening, and we'll like help you, or like even if it's one of our own members who might have an issue, we'll like help them. And yeah, it's a safe space. You can say whatever you want, and nobody will like judge you or think any different of you or anything like that.
I want to stay with you, Avi, just for a moment. Samara had said it can be challenging being a Black youth. And I know what city you're based in, but I don't know if the audience knows. So if you could just share what city this is all taking place in.
We live in Victoria, British Columbia.
Okay. So For Avi and Samara, if you want to add anything to what you've said already, for Avi first, what is it like being a young Black person in Victoria? I see smile. Everyone's smiling, so this should be interesting.
It's interesting. It's like
okay.
When you go to like a Black event, it's like super fun, and like I feel like in schools there aren't that many of us, so like people could like come up and like touch your hair and like do stuff like that, because like it's
wow.
Like it's like soft or something, and that's like kind of it's a very common thing. And yeah, because they like, it's like they've never seen a Black person before, and they're like, whoa, your hair's so soft. But it's like, we don't go up to like some like person and like touch their hair or anything, so it's very weird. And then they ask for the NPass, which is another thing. And yeah, so a lot of stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Well, I appreciate your openness on that. Disappointing and frustrating, very much so, for me to hear this. Samara, do you want to add anything to what you've said already in regards to your experiences as a young Black woman in Victoria?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, Victoria is a very weird city. There's like this sort of belief that there's nothing really wrong with it. But really, Victoria has a whole lot of issues, especially with race. There are like very strong Black communities in Victoria, which I appreciate. That is something, and I'm a part of it. I'm in there, but Victoria can be very like, it kind of catches you off guard if something like, I don't know, racist happens, because you're like, oh, I'm in quaint little Victoria, and then something happens, and you're like, oh, sometimes I forget, So
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How do both of you overcome this kind of stuff?
I have no idea. I guess, I don't know. I don't really know if I've really overcome anything. I've certainly survived a lot of things. Yeah, I guess just expressing how you feel and sharing experiences, just becoming stronger. But, I don't know about overcoming.
Well, in my books, you're an overcomer because you're living it, you're speaking about it, and you're taking action against it. So for me, that's an overcomer. So I bless you for that. And that's fantastic. Really, very much. Avi, how about yourself? How do you overcome it?
It's a tricky question. I think getting somebody who you trust to talk to is very helpful, because if it's like your teacher or something, you could talk to maybe your counselor or your friends. That's a very helpful source, because if for any reason, like, you don't want to talk to your parents, or like your parents are like kind of like abusive or something, you talk to a friend instead. And so just having resources like that to talk to, I feel like, are very helpful to talk to. So yeah, I think that's mainly what I wanted to add on. And
okay, I'll lighten it up. I'll lighten it up for a little bit, because I know it's getting pretty. I don't know if you thought it would get so deep so quickly. So let's jump on the other side of the street. How did this organization start?
So, like I said, we had started in 2020. We put out a call to different youth. We were really looking for a broad spectrum, because, as you know, the African Caribbean Black community is incredibly diverse, and our youth are too. The 6 youth, they come from different countries or different ethnic backgrounds within our ACB space, which is great. I know we'll have a picture later, but there's this wide kind of diversity within themselves. We also have different religious backgrounds that are represented amongst our youth as well. And so that is great. But we just kind of got together, put a word out, and got these wonderful responses back, and then just started meeting and creating. And yeah, there's a lot that goes with that. But yeah.
I'm going to stick with you for just a second, Dr. Lisa. How many young people applied, and what was the process to nail it down to 6?
That's a really good question. And I actually don't know the total amount of people that applied. That went through actually VSAC and Project Respect. Yeah. And I do know that the process for the youth, they were asked some particular questions, but really it was just kind of finding out from them if this was something that resonated with them, the idea, because they have their lived experiences. And was we're a pilot, right? We're a pilot group, and bringing them all together to see how they would connect. And that, I think, was really, I guess what I want to say is we did not have like a hole and then we're looking for people to put in. We were actually trying to collaborate together. Like we brought them together and said, here's this idea. What do you all think? And they very much made this kind of their own, even like our logo and all of that was created through them. The name, the design, one of our youth who's not here with us today actually created the design. They worked with each other. And it's probably best to talk to them because we actually weren't in that room. We actually stepped out and they really generated that.
Okay, so they took a break. We got to bring them back in now. So two-part question for both of you. First of all, what was your response when you heard you were chosen of one of the 6? And what was the first meeting like with all of you?
I guess I'll go first. I think my response is like, I've never done this before. It should be fun. And at the time and still now it's all virtual. So like, we never actually saw ourselves in person until probably like a year.
Yeah, because of COVID.
Like a year. So we only knew each other on Zoom. It was super fun, I found out, and I'm kind of avoiding the question. I already knew kind of that I was gonna be a part of it, so it wasn't like really a shocker because I mean my mom basically helped make it. So she was like, yeah, we're doing this thing, da 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 da. You're gonna, or you, do you want to be a part of it?
Do you want to
and I was like, yeah, sure, it sounds fun. And then it basically just grew from there. So
we're actually hoping we can get funding for a couple more to add some more boys. That was the one thing. We don't have a balance there.
Sure.
As well. But yeah. Samara, do you want to?
Yeah. When you heard
specific people as well. There's some people we specifically reached out to because we understood who they were and they were already in community with us in some way. Yeah.
So Samara, when you found out, and what was the first meeting like?
Well, when I found out, I guess it was kind of like how Avi felt. I was like, well, of course I got in. You know, if I didn't get in, I was going to have words with Dr. Lisa about it. You know?
All right.
So I was already committed. I cleared out my schedule. So.
I love it. And I love that you have such focused, positive expectation. Yeah. You go in to win. I love it. And then what was the first meeting like?
I think we were a little bit shy because it was over Zoom and I thought I knew some of the people, but I also didn't quite know because we just kind of looked different. It was a little bit awkward, but I think by the end of it, we were pretty well friends, you know?
Okay. So I want to stick with you a little bit on this. So when you found out the news, what did your family have to say?
Well, my mom is very supportive of this. She was fully on board when we were signing up for it or entering it online. She was doing it, and I was like, "Oh, mom, you know, we were in it together,"
Nice.
which is really lovely. And she was also like, "Yeah, Samara, you better get in there," you know.
I love it. I love it.
I'd like to say that the kids, the youth, they all come from different high schools as well
Okay.
throughout Victoria, which is nice because they represent, I think, a lot of different voices, but you can also see the similarities and commonalities that they're having across their secondary school experience. And so that's, I think, really interesting, right? That speaks to that kind of the systematic and systemic racism that they face no matter what school they're at or what grade that they happen to be in.
I'm just gonna add one thing.
Go ahead. No, you got time. Add whatever you want. Go ahead.
I just want to say that, like, in this, we're a community and we're not just work partners. So we're not like, this is the work, we're gonna do this. Like, that's just what we're doing. For each group, for each meeting, we do what we did today, which is like a check-in. And when the spouses basically do leave, then it's just us. And it's just us. What was I going to say?
No, I think you were saying the adults. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
adults.
just-
Adults, yeah. Spouses, I don't know. I don't think so. Adults.
Adults.
Before we even start our work, we ask, how was our day? How's school going? Just stuff like that. Just some grounding. So I think it's really cool that we're a community and we're not basically just like work. We actually like know each other and like get to know each other. So yeah.
Okay, good. So I would like for our audience, what is the meaning of bystander intervention? What does that mean?
Who wants it? Do you all want me to take it? Who wants to take it? Well, I can take it, and then you all can add to it if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So basically what we're talking about here is when you see somebody who is experiencing maybe some sort of violence, it could be racialized violence or sexualized violence. Maybe in common terms, you might see somebody being bullied, I'll put that in quotes, or, harassed in some fashion. And people are standing around watching it happen. What does it take to get somebody to intervene in that situation, to try to help that person or to stop what's going on? And so we call that bystander intervention. And in students' cases, that could be things that are happening in the classroom. It could be happening in a sports team. It could be happening, wherever they're just kind of hanging out. And so when it comes to the experiences of Black youth and racialized violence that they may be facing, whether it's, language or something physical, what can we do to empower people and support people to try to intervene in those situations? And it's complicated to intervene in those situations, especially if you're another student and there's teachers, or, you're with a group of friends, and how do you do that? And oftentimes we don't talk to people about how to do that. And so the idea is to help people with some, to recognize it, because you can't intervene if you don't know something's going on, right? And then give strategies about how you can deal with that. And then for the person who it's happening to as well, how they can take care of themselves and what can be done to help support them as well. So.
Anything to add on, lady? Anything to add on? Abby, Samara, anything to add on?
I think she hit.
Well, that's pretty much that, like, that's bystander intervention. It's a bystander intervening.
Okay, no problem. Have you had a chance to do workshops or presentations about bystander intervention to other individuals, organizations, and tell us what, if you have, what have they been about and how successful have they been?
We did, I guess, our presentation over the summer, I believe. And there were, I don't remember how many people were there who signed up for it, but there was a good number of people. And I think it was our first time doing it, so we might have all been a bit nervous. But I think it went pretty good. I think we got good reviews, if I remember what they were saying. And yeah, it was pretty much just a nice chance to just share what we had, the knowledge that we had gathered and sat with over a year, to just share it with other Black youth. So yeah, it went pretty well.
Avi, your thoughts?
Just to add, we only have given it to Black youth right now, just because we're planning to open it up in the future for non-Black youth. But just for right now, we want to kind of, in a sense, keep it simple. So like, not having to explain why I can't use the N-word, like people really touch your hair, like this really happens, da, da, da. Like we don't want to have to explain that. With the Black youth that we had, all of them understood what we were going through and what they were going through. So I think, so right now we are staying with just Black youth, but we are planning to open it up in the future eventually.
And to follow up on that, the group that they had were Black youth from throughout BC. It's opened up. And one of the things that we're looking at right now is giving, in fact, I don't think they even know this because this just happened, but
Okay.
we're giving the opportunity out. We're going to open that up kind of nationwide, but prioritize BC youth. If the funding allows us, there's just a bit of tricky pieces in terms of who we can give this to, but we're trying to kind of move that a little bit because we've actually got a couple inquiries from other Black youth in other spaces. But in the evaluation, the Black youth who attended talked about how wonderful it was to be able to just sit with other Black youth, and the scenarios that they presented resonated with them, like, oh yeah, that's happened to me. And they were able to, like Avi said, not have to explain. And so being able to also get some strategies and ideas was helpful as well. So like Samara said, it was the first one that they had given, and with they're doing their next one. I think it's the end of January.
Wow.
Will be the next presentation that they'll be giving. And then they're also going to be working on, again, possibly doing this for teachers in the school, about what to give them an idea of the lived experiences of Black youth in school. And that would happen in May. And then there would be probably another presentation like in June, and we're sticking with the same presentation so they can get comfortable, presenting. They share it amongst themselves, the 6 of them.
Each one of you knocking it out of the park, out of bounds. You're on fire today. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me ask both our young friends, if you can remember, what was your reaction about the George Floyd incident?
I guess for me, I don't really know. I mean, I know, but like, it was really really sad. Just, I wasn't necessarily shocked because I'm very aware of police brutality, so I wasn't unaware that these things were happening and could happen, but just the horrific way that Mr. Floyd died was really, really hard to hear about and have in the media all the time. Like, I remember, I think that was with like the Blackout Tuesday stuff on Instagram. I think. And it was really just like, it was really hard because I was getting a lot of messages from friends, and that was annoying because I was like, you guys are just realizing that I'm Black. Like, okay, but it was really hard, I think, especially because it was, I think, during COVID and I was inside all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Abby.
I think because it was during the pandemic, it kind of added, in a sense, more stress to the current world situation. I was pretty shocked because I never really heard anything about this. It hasn't happened. I mean, it has, but we haven't had something like this big in a pretty big while. So when I heard about it, I was pretty shocked. It was kind of weird to me. Like, schools didn't really announce it as well as they could. I don't even think they really did like announce it at all. It was kind of just like the news, and most teachers didn't really talk about it. It was just like the next day. So yeah, going to the rally I think was really important, and having my friends there I think was very cool for the support. And yeah, I think police brutality should be stopped, and it kind of heightens the Black people who were scared of the police, kind of just heightens that, which hopefully in the future we don't need to be scared of police, because in the end most are here to help us. So yeah, we don't want to just cut off all our resources in that sense, if that made any sense.
You're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. Everything's going good, going smooth.
Could I
add something?
Go ahead. Yes,
Oh,
please.
okay.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
All right. It just kind of, the George Floyd thing kind of reminded me of when I was younger, and there was another thing that happened. It kind of reminded me. It was actually a horrifying realization that I couldn't always trust the police, which was because my elementary school and middle school, they had like a police officer that would come to the school and do presentations and stuff.
Right.
And I have a family member that's a police officer, and I was just always very like, oh, just kind of, they were kind of very much heroes in my eyes. And that's not to say that there aren't good police officers, but it was just this like really terrifying idea that I couldn't trust this thing that I had always just loved and just really respected, and then all of a sudden I couldn't. And maybe the police wouldn't always help me if I asked. That was really terrifying, and it was just a horrible reminder that I can't always trust, even no matter how much I want to. So yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to add that the murder of Mr. Floyd was, an opportunity for a lot of us in our communities who've been screaming for a really long time. For some reason, that particular incident kind of woke certain people up who have certain degrees of power. And so this kind of group was able to kind of come out, like people take us more seriously because of that, right? My fear, and I'm already seeing it happening, that was, going on a couple of years now, you see people having interest in our communities, and it's kind of going like that, right? Yeah. And that we have this really small window to be able to work with to try to make some real kind of changes and systemic changes. For me as a mother, it, again, not surprising, but just kind of infuriating and sad, because my parents were part of the Watts riots, I was in the LA riots. My older son, I have an older son who's 19. His first memory of these issues is Trayvon Martin, right? And then now Avi has George Floyd, right? So that kind of, this is not just something that came out of the blue. That historical precedence that's being set it was beyond a lot. And as Avi said, for certain schools and so forth, not to really address it. And I would like to say probably have no clue how to. A lot of our Black students were just kind of left and, having to deal with a lot of people, even well-meaning people, and not realizing this is not an incident. This is like our family, yeah.
Got it. Both are young friends. Do you get the opportunity to talk with people in your age group about race and racism? And if you do, what are those conversations like?
Do you want to go first or?
Sure.
Okay.
I think this is kind of the first real group that I've been a part of. In schools, like, we don't have any actual group or anything made by the teachers, really resources. There's nothing specific towards us, towards like Asian Canadians, towards all sorts of other people. There's no actual like real grouping. And then it's kind of just like they bunch us up all together, and then they're like, what are your issues or something? And like we tell them an issue and they'd be all confused, like that happens. Like they're not trained as well as they should be. Like we need a specific person who's trained for us, for Asian Canadians, for First Nations, for all sorts of different groupings of people. Because having like one person who like barely knows anything about each thing is kind of not helpful. So yeah, this is my first real, I think, group.
Samara?
Yeah, I think I haven't had any structured conversations about race that haven't involved Dr. Lisa. So I guess outside of this, we've talked about it sometimes in class. Well, we did once, and it was done very poorly, and it ended with me arguing with the teacher, which it usually does.
Whoa, Samara, go!
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I don't usually like to speak up to teachers at all, but they come for Black people.
Lisa, you got them good. You got them going good, Dr. Lisa. I'm telling you.
I think they already know it. It's just providing a space where they can feel free to express what they're living. And I think they could both talk to, and other members of the group have talked about that ability to be able to say some of the things that are happening to them with a group of people who are like, yeah, like it's not in your imagination, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You're not over exaggerating or being too sensitive or anything like that. And we're seeing that more and more if we can get groups of, kids together to be able to express that. That is a lot. In BC, they have decided to engage in implementing a K through 12 anti-racism curriculum, and it's supposed to be implemented within the next 3 years, and that will be quite interesting to see how that looks. And so, and who's going to do that training and who's going to do that teaching, etc. But a lot of the youth, I think, are, at least from my perspective, and I'd love to hear from them, but from my perspective, the youth are being willing to speak up. We're seeing here, like diversify your narrative happening, like youth talking about not getting enough, you know, like Black literature in English classes and,
Right.
Ibok literature and things like that. So even just, the youth are rocking their afros and their braids and all this stuff. I mean, even something like that versus back in my day, people would always press their hair, So I feel this kind of energy with the youth today that if we can give them a space, they'll take it, and they're asking for the space as well. Some people don't want to give it to them though.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. So both of our young people here, if in a perfect world, what would this organization be doing? If everything was perfect, what would you be doing? What would it look like? The perfect bath youth empowerment or empowerment. What would it look like? And what would you be doing?
I guess the perfect it would be like we'd be going to schools, I guess, all over Canada, and we could just talk to people and they would understand. And we could talk to teachers directly, because I feel like almost every racist experience I've ever had has been with a teacher. So I think if we could just talk to teachers and just really let them understand that what's harmless to them is just not harmless to us.
Mhm.
Just like, and getting just whole schools to understand, getting parents to understand, because I know some parents don't really agree with learning about Black history and culture in class. Just getting people to understand just more, or just at least get them to try to understand. Yeah, I think that's what it would be for me. Just more of everything.
All right, Avi.
Mine is very much more like utopia, kind of like very high expectations in a sense, where we'd live in a world where it wouldn't ever never be brought up, but it wouldn't have to be brought up in the sense that everybody would know what's right and what's wrong. So we wouldn't even have to have conversations, hard conversations, because in the end, Black youth empowerment is helping people learn basically what's right and wrong and how to do it safely and what to do. And if everybody knows how to do that, then we did our job basically. If everybody knows it, then our job's done, because we've taught everybody and they know. So in a perfect world, we wouldn't even have to even be teaching people about this, because they'd already know. So yeah, that's what I think.
In my perfect scenario, what I would hope is that this could be a model for other racial ethnic groups. I would love to see this with our other counterparts, where the youth have the input and the control. So many times youth in school are being talked to and not being asked,
Right.
and what they've been able to create. It's imagine if that was possible, that we actually listen to the people who we actually are trying to serve and who have the experience, and listen to their ideas and their solutions, and then being able to share that. It's incredible what they've been able to think about and come up with, and to know that their lived experiences are that important and that meaningful, and to be able to share that with other groups. And so those groups would be able to see how similar they are, but then also still capture those unique differences that make you proud to be a member of the African Caribbean Black community, right? Proud to be part of your Indigenous communities, and proud to be part of your different Asian groups and Latinx groups. There's so much to be proud of. Yeah, that would be amazing to see this that way.
Excellent. Both the young people, are you balancing enjoying doing this and school at the same time?
Yeah.
How? What's the secret?
There really isn't a secret. I'm just very exhausted at our meetings. I'm just like I kind of sit there and I'm like, yeah, you know, we get stuff done, but I think most of us are quite tired at the meeting, you know.
I'm gonna kind of expose us a bit, but in our group, like most of the time on meetings, most of us are usually like laying in bed because we've had such a long day, or like ready to like take a nap. So yeah.
But you get stuff done. You get
Yeah,
stuff
we do.
done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like
Don't get good, get done, right?
Yeah, at our meeting times, it's like 4:30 to 5-ish or something. I'll always be eating. Like just during that whole like 2 hours or whatever it is, I'll just be eating food and just yeah.
It's like after school snack time.
Yeah, it's my snack and then I'll have dinner at the end of the meeting. So
nice.
And they work really well, but I'm glad you asked that question because they are well-rounded youth. You know, some of them are involved in different activities, they're involved in sport as well as this. And so that's really also inspiring in that way that they sometimes give up a Saturday to go, you know, do a 4-hour training of some sort. And they have had the opportunity a couple times to meet each other. And we're hoping that with COVID, but those have always been amazing. Kind of like the picture you have, that was a photo shoot they were able to do, but to be able to come together is really nice. And we have a couple of our youth as well who graduate, right? So we have one person who's graduated and in university now, but because of COVID, they're still able to interact with the group because we're still online. So I guess that's one positive piece of that. But the idea is that they will be also moving up and we'll be bringing in more youth, you know, kind of ends up being a staggered because they're in different grades. So as they exit, other youth will be coming behind them as well.
Nice. Before we were just going to start winding it down, but definitely want to find out the significance of the logo. So if our producer could put the logo up on the screen and someone chime in about the significance of the logo, we'd appreciate that. So Mr. Producer, if you can put the logo up, we will get go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna talk to Samara. Just if you think I'm wrong, or you just basically say what you think it is, and I'll say what I think it is, and we'll see if it matches up. So
okay, all right, let's go. So
I was gonna do that anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
And
well, let's put the logo
talk
up.
a little bit about who created the logo. You all could speak to that as well.
Jade, a member of our group, made the logo. She actually drew it out, and we all really liked it, and so that's how it became a logo. And she couldn't make it today, but she would have explained everything in the right detail. So that's why it seems like we might be kind of off a little bit, but I think we know most of them for the most part. So yeah. So I guess.
I think they actually have the logo.
Yes, we do have the logo.
Yeah, so I think they'll put it up.
Oh,
we can actually put it up on the screen, and there we have. That's even better than putting it up on screen. There you go. That's even better. Can we just Samara, what do you have to say about the logo?
You want me to do that?
I think the logo really represents everything that we're trying to, you know.
No, Samara, you're doing it. You're not trying. You're doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing. The logo represents everything we're doing. So
good.
I think they have like the hands holding like the pride flag, and then
Yeah. So you know what,
there's like,
Dr. Lisa, you can sit back down. I'll have the
Okay.
producer put it up. I'll put the producer.
Okay, that'd be great. That'll be great. And Avi's got the rest of it as well.
Yeah. So our producer, if you can put the logo up, and Samara, you can continue. So continue. Go ahead.
yeah, so there's the hands holding the pride flag, and then there's the white hand and the black hand shaking hands, because we are all about being together. Like, even though this is for Black youth, I don't know, white people are good too, I guess. And then there's the light bulb, and then there's like the community sort of symbol thing. And in the center of it, we have the black fist, because this was designed during like a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago,
Right.
when that fist was just kind of everywhere, I guess. And yeah, it's kind of the center of everything, and then the 4 different elements just kind of are around it, and there's like the infinity, because yeah, it just looks really cool. Yeah. And also, I was supposed to wear the hoodie today, and I'm really sorry. I just realized I'm wearing full holiday getup. So I have like my
It's
suspenders
okay.
and sweater,
No worries.
and I'm like, sorry about that. I forgot.
No, look, we had
but-
the logo up, so you did fine. I just wanted to ask. Yes, go ahead.
Could you put the logo back up just for a quick second?
Sure, there we go.
I'm just gonna add just some stuff just to what you're talking about. I think the 2 hands shaking each other also means friendship.
Oh yeah.
So that one means, and then the light bulb means ideas. So you're always open to share ideas. And the one with the all 3 people, I believe, means unity. So like,
Okay.
yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Nothing.
Hey, no problem. That's
just a couple quick. You don't have to put the symbol back up again, but the heart also is representative of the intersections. So recognizing that we as a people have many different types of identities, and so that there is, love and welcoming safe space for all the different types of people that we are.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Black power in the middle.
wonderful. Well, what is next for the organization?
So I'll tell you. I'll tell you technically what's next, and then they can fill in. So technically, what's next is like I said, end of January, February, they will be hosting another training workshop for participants, and that will be open. Right now, it's open to BC Youth. And so they have an Instagram page. If people want to connect with them on Instagram, they can see when the actual workshops they're free. We should have said that. The workshops are free to the youth. People just have to sign up, and they're limited to like maybe 10, 12 people at a time to be able to keep the kind of conversation that happens in a nice, real way. And right now on Zoom. So anybody can participate from across the space. And then we'll be, again, looking at participating in a teacher's professional development. That will be actually probably early May. And then another workshop will be out there in June. And hopefully that one will be available to any secondary youth that would be interested in connecting with the group. But you could follow them on Instagram, which the youth also are in charge of.
And I just put up the Instagram ID with my producer, so if he can put, there we go. There is it's Instagram.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's possible. We just want to make sure we honor all the youth in our group that aren't here today. We have one out of the country, actually, somebody studying for finals, somebody who's at work. But we do have a photograph of the whole team, as well as the adults as well. I don't know if
I
that's
don't
the
know
one
if
you
we're able to put that
put
up
that up. Okay.
quickly, but
But it's on our line as well. And you can also go to Victoria Sexual Assault Center under Project Respect online on the website. And you can hear and learn more about BI if you're interested in talking to us about that as well. That's available.
All right, and I'm gonna see if I can go. What was the name of that? Victoria?
Victoria Sexual Assault Center, and it's under Project Respect. Project Respect.
We're gonna get that up. So I just, if the
Great.
producer can put up that link right now, Victoria Sexual Assault Center, show it to our audience. That would be great. Young people, what's next? What are you excited about going forward with this organization?
I guess. Oh,
sorry.
well, our next thing, I think we're going to do our presentation in January. But for me, I'm really excited about talking to teachers eventually, if we can do that.
Yes.
That's really, really important to me, that we get our message to the adults that, end up, interacting directly with Black youth. So I think that's really important, because a lot of the stories that the Black youth tell almost always have to do with a teacher. And I think if we can stop that, then that'll just make at least school a more positive experience. So,
I'd love to see you deliver that. I would, but Dr. Lisa, you make sure you tell me how she rolls on that. I am excited about that. Avi, what are you excited about?
I think I'm excited about going forward. It's kind of interesting because at the end of each of our meetings, we don't do it as often as we did before, but we used to have feet, heart, and head. And heart was like kind of just like what you're feeling. Feet is like, what are you gonna do to like make an impact on the situation, like go forward. And then a head is like, what are your thoughts about this meeting and like what we are going to do moving on. I think I'm gonna go with head, and that's just super excited on what we're gonna do. Our next meeting is gonna be fun because we're adding on, and I feel like that's cool, instead of like doing like bystander intervention and then skipping to something else and then doing like little snippets of them. I feel like really becoming an expert in one situation is really helpful before moving on, because then the better you are at a situation, the better you can teach people. So I think I'm just super excited on our next meetings and what's going to happen moving forward.
And
close it out, Dr. Lisa. Go ahead.
I'm hoping what you all heard during this past hour, you get just an inkling of the joy that we get being inspired by these youth. And you just imagine 4 more who are like them. And we could be having the worst day, come to a meeting, and we are just elevated because our future is just so much brighter because it's in their hands. And that to me is just so exciting. We support them in any way that we can, including reminding them to take care of themselves. And that's like, has Avi just demonstrated, that heart and head and feet space. But if you all ever get down at all about thinking about what our youth are going through, I hope you remember this conversation and know that our youth are out there and they are educating and they are inspiring and they are making this space so much better for so many other youth that they don't even know. And that gives me hope and that gives me pride in our communities. So I just want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to us. And follow us on Instagram and send us your wishes and everything else. But this group is awesome and amazing. And I'm biased, but
Nothing wrong with being biased with a good thing. That's fantastic. Well, look,
and
I want to
thank you so much for the opportunity, Dr. Vibe.
My pleasure. This is what we're here for. I want to thank everyone who's here and the members that are not here for everything you have done. are doing and will be doing going forward. Please do not be afraid to reach out if there's anything I could potentially help you with. Definitely in the new year, I want to see you back. I want to hear what happens, especially after you talk to the teachers.
Yes.
Samara, you're going to be leading on that conversation, by the way, so I'm counting on you.
Yeah. We'll make that a date. We'll hopefully see you all back in June. We'll do after that's over.
Well, keep me up to date what happens in between that. Absolutely. But if our producer can just put up the Instagram handle before we let all of them go, so everyone can see the Instagram handle, and then we can let them on the way, because some people need their rest, as I've been told. So, all right.
Happy holidays and happy New Year.
Pleasure. Be well and keep the faith, and remember to give yourselves grace. Take care.
You will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Another epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show. Great group of young people. And they are our future. So they're making our future look bright and promising. So appreciate everything that was said there today. This is probably, there may be one more, but probably the last live Black Canada Talking we're doing this year. So before we get to my sign off, I like the producer to put up something for me. He knows what I need him to put up. Just want to make an announcement. Don't worry, we're not ending Black Canada Talking, but there is a link on your screen right there. And just a little background behind it. I have been nominated in the best podcaster category for the By Blacks 4th Annual People's Choice Awards. So I'm in competition with 3 other individuals. Oh, not 3, 2 other shows, and I respect both of them. But if you are so encouraged and enlightened, please go to the address you see on your screen. And I don't know if the producer can actually put up what that page looks like. And I can go to the side and he can bring that screen up and I'll show you what you need to do. But verbally, what you need to do is you go to that page, you select the Dr. Vibe Show, and underneath the shows that are listed in the category, you click on vote. So there's the link. Go to the link. You'll see a list of 3 shows. Choose the Dr. Vibe Show and then press vote. Now, if you're really ambitious, you can vote more than once. Every 24 hours, you can vote if you want to. But at least start with 1 vote. That would be key. At least start with 1 vote. So I just want to put that out there. So getting back to this, yes, I'd like to say thank you for everyone's support for making the Dr. Vibe Show, Black Canada Talking, an epic conversation. We may have a conversation between now and the end of the year. Can't guarantee that. But I will say that we appreciate all of you. And I appreciate you. Also, a big thanks to the producer, BIA Media. This started, I think, August 2020, I believe. So we've been doing it for a while. Most Sunday afternoons going live. So we appreciate it. We don't take it for granted. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Happy Kwanzaa. And as always, I want to close out my conversations with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Producer, can you just put up that link one more time quickly? Just one more time. If you can put that link up, I'd appreciate it. Beautiful. So there's the link. I'd appreciate it if if you're up to it and you're comfortable, please vote for me. And again, you can vote more than once. If you want to vote twice, that'd even be better. But you can only vote once every 24 hours. All right. So God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith. Remember to give yourselves grace. And remember, walk good. And again, thanks to BIA Media. Thank you.